Death. It's, the one disease we all catch eventually. Um, my stance on it is okay, well, we are just components of matter brought together through, or kept together actually, because we're brought together at one point as, molecules. And as molecules started working together, that's what life is molecules working together and staying alive and gathering the resources to keep themselves from dissipating. And that's what life is. It's pretty pointless. So while we're here, enjoy it. But we're all gonna die. So enjoy it. Enjoy life. Be decent to each other, because being decent to each other is the best way to enjoy the most out of life. You can be, emotionally satisfied by being an asshole, but what does that eventually get you? Loneliness and everybody hating you? Yay. Anyway, if I die, I die. All my mental firings, all the electrical, chemical firings, and processes that are going on in here will just stop working. And I will no longer be able to see. I will no longer be able to speak or think. It's going to be gone. That's all. That's all death is. We are shutting down. We are basically biological machines put together, kept together by a natural selection that, we survive by killing. We have to kill to survive. We eat other life. We consume other atomic matter because we need to gain the resource materials to keep ourselves from dissipating. That's pretty much all life is, gathering resource materials to keep ourselves from yeah, disappearing completely. And once we die, we just return back to those base component elements, those building blocks, those molecules. Well, unless you put yourself in a box and keep yourself away from the earth and don't allow yourself to be put back into life, even though you take so much life while you're alive. I think that's one of the most selfish things humans do, bury ourselves away from nature. If anything, we should give our bodies to nature, give our bodies to forest, bury it under a tree, or give it to animals to eat, because animals are always looking for food. Just because it's going to tear my body apart, my body's going to look ugly and bloody and gory, why should I care? I'm going to be dead. The only reason people probably buried their dead was the reason they bury their shit. Dead people stink. And eventually that just became a custom. There was probably a place where people buried all their dead and garbage. Just that's the origin of hell. A pile of burning garbage and dead people and dead animals in the corner of town. If you be bad, we're gonna throw you into that pile, type thing. But which got exaggerated when Jesus came around to be some sort of infinite torture realm. But when I die, I don't fear that I'm going to be going anywhere like that, because that's absolute fantasy and human torture fantasy. I mean, it's obvious, just human-made ideas in this universe that is not human-centric. Thinking that the universe is built around us, is quite egotistical. But I don't fear that I'm going to be tortured forever, because partially, if there is a God that is intentionally hiding itself from me, it would understand why I can't find it. And if I can't find it, it cannot blame me for not finding it, for not taking the word of humans who are known to lie or to promote false ideas, like, black people shouldn't marry, and that kind of thing that needs to change, that has changed because we're smarter than religion is, than religion wants us to be. So also, I don't believe in heaven. I don't think I'm going to be. I do good things just because I realize that we are here, and being a good person is more productive than being a bad person. I don't think that I'm going to go to any heaven because of it. Those people who do the good things only because they're going to heaven, you gotta kind of wonder, you know. But I understand most of them just, they are good people inside, despite what their religion tries to put on top of them. Um, I'm not if I ever get to a point where I'm in suffering pain, I probably will want to be euthanized. I believe in euthanasia. I think everyone has a choice, has a right to their own life and their own body, whether they want to keep it or get rid of it. It's obviously a bit premature to try to kill yourself because life can get better. I'm not going to say it does get better because it doesn't in all cases, but it can get better depending on who you are, where you are, what friends you surround yourself with, or if you're able to. Um, we live, we die. If I die, I just hope I'm not going to be put through a long bout of suffering. Pain is just not something I enjoy, and I would rather end it if I had to. Some people talk about immortality, like there might be a scientific possibility of allowing ourselves to be immortal. For that, we would have to solve aging as well as food, as well as resource gathering, because our bodies still need food. We're still going to need to eat. We're still going to need to produce waste. We're going to need to gather the resource materials to keep our bodies from dissipating. Until we can solve that, then I don't think immortality will be feasible, because we do live on a limited planet, and the closest habitable planets are a bit far away, and it's a bit expensive to get to anywhere at this point anyway, in our history at the moment. But yeah, if I die, I just don't want to suffer. But I do want this to end at some point. I'm not. I was never depressed. I've never really thought about suicide, except a couple times when I was sick in leukemia, and the chemotherapy was making me extremely nauseous and throwing up every 5 minutes. There were moments when I was like, oh, I just wish I had died already. But, that's what we do when we're in a tough situation. We're like, oh, I wish I could just die. It just wasn't serious. I never take that seriously, but I know some people do. I was just never that kind of person. But if I do die, I won't be disappointed. I don't want to have to keep going to work for the rest of my life, because, again, I'm going to have to earn, if we attain immortality, we're going to still have to earn our living. We're going to still have to earn our way to eat. I want this to end at some point. I don't want to have to keep going to work and be a slave to some corporation that doesn't care if I'm there. I just want to live and experience the experiences in life. Experience people, experience artwork, video games, movies, whatever. There's no point to living other than just being here. Gaining the resource materials to prevent ourselves from dissipating. And that's it. I guess that's my entire stance. If I die, I die. I want this to end at some point, but I'm not looking to just have an early end. I want an end before I get into severe suffering of any sort. That would be permanent or terminal. I think euthanasia is something that definitely needs to be legalized, but I understand it would require a ton of paperwork and probably video and audio recordings of the conversations, making sure there was no form of coercion in any way, because we are humans, we are corruptible. There will be someone who will try to kill someone and pass it off as euthanasia. That's going to happen, because that's how we are, and that's pretty much the reason why it has not been legalized yet. But if you can get documentation, if you can do that, why not? I don't believe that a person should be kept alive just because they're alive. Life isn't special. Life is just matter working with other matter. What makes it special is how complex the matter has formed up here, that we can process all this beauty, all this universe. We can see this, we can study it, and there are people out there who tell us that we shouldn't. But yeah, we can see it, we can study, we can look at the world, we can feel the world, we can experience things. We have pleasure and pain sensations. Some people, that's the same thing. Why exist if we're not going to test ourselves out? Why exist if we're not going to try to trick our own bodies into giving us pleasure? That's sex, masturbation, drugs, whatever. Tricking us, or just watching TV. We're tricking our brains into just having positive feelings. Obviously, we should, get inundated with material stuff, or bury our lives in electronic sources. Although that is pretty much where we're heading. The future is probably hybrid human machine technology. It already is partially, and disabled people have the working arms and legs and stuff, and some people might eventually be able to augment and add stuff to themselves rather than just replace what's missing. But that's way further. Who knows? It might just be around in the next decade. But you know, anytime we predict any sort of science fiction for the next decade, it happens to look exactly like the last decade. if you know, yeah. So if I die, I die. I don't want to suffer through it. I'm not going to go to heaven or hell because I'm just a piece of matter that's going to dissipate. I would rather be buried under a tree than in a box. I, if I'm going to be in a long bout of suffering, kill me. I do not share George Carlin's thoughts on that. I do not want to be alive just because I'm alive. If I'm a vegetable, take it. Pull the plug. I'm not doing anything productive for this world. I'm not doing anything productive for myself. I'm not experiencing anything. And if I am experiencing anything, it's not positive. It's just a few minutes of, oh, my family's here. Oh, hi. If I'm even conscious enough to understand that, what kind of living is that? So yes, I guess that's all I have to say on death. Any questions?